Hello and welcome to the Effective Time Management webinar. My name is Rola Al-Masalki. I'm a specialist in the area of training for soft skills, human resources, and other business courses. The webinar is offered by the Continuing and Professional Education Directorate at the University of Doha for Science and Technology. Get a pen and paper and be ready to take notes and apply what I will be covering in this course. The Effective Time Management training course is a 2-hour webinar that provides CPE clients with the necessary time management skills that help them be more productive and thus increase the quality of work and life. The learning outcome of this course, by the end of this course, you're expected to know, or the learner will be able to recognize the value of time management. You'll be able to apply the process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on specific activities, especially to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. In fact, we will be also looking at multiple techniques which you can be using, and we will apply this together as well. Here is an overview of the topics that will be covered during this webinar. Topic number 1, recognize the value of time management. Topic number 2, distinguish different ways of setting goals. Topic number 3, select the best personal approach for time management. Topic number 4, identify ways in dealing with time barriers and procrastination. Are you ready? Let's start. So in order for us to recognize the value of time management, we have to look at why it's important. Well, time management improves the life or the quality of life. It reduces stress and increases productivity. Let's explore every one of these items. A very nice quote that I read a while ago, it's written by Ahmed Shan Karimi. He's a writer on Daily Outlook Afghanistan. He writes very nice articles. He said, of all the elements everyone has to work with, none is more precious than time. Why is time precious? Because it just passes. And in order for us to benefit the most from this time, is we have to invest the most in it. And time management helps us do that. So let's again look at time management and see how it improves our life quality. Time is extremely important in everyone's life. It helps people to organize and structure their daily activities. Time plays a significant role in everyone's life. One can gain experience and develop skills over time. Time is the ultimate measure of our success. As I just mentioned, time passes anyways. So I want you to pause and look and try to think about something here. In 2 years, what do you expect to have extra that you don't have right now? What accomplishment or achievement do you have planned or do you dream of having? The thing is, the 2 years are going to pass anyways. Through these 2 years, you could have your own business, you could have a master's degree, you could have opened your online social media presence, you could have traveled to certain places around the world, or you could be just sitting in the same chair you're sitting in right now, watching TV or scrolling on social media platforms. Time is going to pass either way. So what you do with this time tells us how successful you are, and tell yourself as well. It's going to pass anyway. So let it pass with some benefits. And that's where time management comes in. Activities, when performed on time, will be fruitful and results will be great. Proper time management is something that can change a person's life and on fundamental basis for the better. Now, we talked about quality of life a little bit. Time management reduces stress as well. Hmm. Time management helps you reduce stress levels by giving you direction when you have when you have a lot of work to do, where to start, when to do it, what to do first, and all of that. And we will be looking into that later on. So you won't feel overwhelmed and stressed as you would if you don't have a time management plan or technique in your hands. Also, and it's a very important point, time management improves the decision making ability. How does time management relate to decision making? These are two different factors, no? They are, but they're related as well. If you have enough time and you have a decision to make, then you'll have enough time to explore the different options you have, what you need to do, if there's pros and cons for each of the roads that you might go for. But if you don't have time, you might, if someone feels pressed for time and has to make a decision, they will probably just jump into conclusion without fully considering every option, threats and benefits associated with each option. So what happens here? This might lead to a poor decision making, which eventually will end up in wasting more time and resources. And time is something that one can lose and never get back. This is why it's very precious. So it does reduce stress as much. If you had managed your time, you'd have enough time to assess your decision and take a rational decision with that. Of course, time management also increase productivity. Time management techniques improves one productivity, which allows to get more work done within shorter amount of time. It allows people to take control over their professional as well as personal life, as it helps them to know what needs to be done and what goals need to be accomplished on daily basis. It allows them to meet the deadline for the projects or any other tasks that are due within certain time limit. Think about yourself. If you have a pen and a paper and you write down all the things you want to achieve today or you need to accomplish today, whether at work, with your family, or in your school, just by simply jotting down the different things you need to do and allocating time for every one of them, you will be able to achieve more throughout the day. A simple to-do list can solve that and make you more productive. It will help you avoid missing out some of the items that you might have forgotten about if you wouldn't have written it down and allocated some time to it. While yes, you might not end up doing all the things that you want for the day, but at least you know very well that you have accomplished way more than what you would have if you haven't had this paper with you. And this is just a very simple, basic tool that you can use. A things to do list, as simple as that, with a time allocation. So time management does indeed help you be more productive. So we keep talking about time management, and I just gave you this to-do list kind of example. But what is time management? What do we mean when we say time management? Let's explore that. Time management itself refers to managing time effectively so that the right time is allocated to the right activity. Effective time management allows individuals to assign specific time slots to activities as per your goals and as per the importance of these goals and activities. So this is why if you don't sit down and do the time management activity, if you don't allocate a few minutes in the morning, in a week, in a weekend, in a month, whatever it is, to sit down and allocate the activity, the time that you need to do for the activities that needs to be done, or the work tasks that needs to be done, or the projects that needs to be done for you or for your work or school, it will be impossible for you to accomplish as much as you need. So while time management is a task that you need to do and apply, it helps you be more productive and it helps you identify the activities that you need to do. Now, how do we assess that? How do we specify what's important? How do we specify the goals? We will be talking about all of that in this class, in this course. Let's go further. In other words, time management is the process of planning and exercising conscious control. So you have to be conscious about what you are deciding on doing. You don't just let your day go haphazardly, just as it flows, because that's not productive. So the process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on specific activities, especially to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. About that, some people, it's a personality type. Some people, even when they're going on vacation, they would have a planned certain amount of activities planned for the day, maybe sightseeing, maybe touristic attractions they want to do, a certain visiting for some friends or something, and they follow that schedule. And some people, while on vacation, they prefer just to leave it loose. They go and they walk around and they might spend the whole day just by seeing one sightseeing. While it's still okay to do that over vacation. It's okay to do both actually on vacation. It's okay to leave yourself and just, enjoy the moment and let everything go with the flow. It's very nice, very okay. But can you think if this can be done while you have work or you have a family or while you're a student? It's impossible. You cannot just say, let me sit down and let me walk with let me go with the flow and see how long this homework will take. If you don't time it, well, this homework with all the distractions you're going to be having, it might take up to 2 days to finish the homework. That's if you finish it. So without putting a time limit and forcing yourself into doing it, without managing your time will pass by without you doing any accomplishments. Let's go further. Now, when people set up goals, and goals are important parts of time management, as we mentioned before, because our in time management, as I just told you, you have to assign specific time slots to activities as per your goals and its importance. So goals are associated to that, and it's very important to identify your goals before or as you are managing your time. So there are 3 ways that normally people set up goals. This is the traditional way, okay? You can base your goal based or set your goals based on your process. You can also set your goals based on the performance or based on the outcome. And people are more likely now, as I'm saying, to go for the outcome as well, more. But let's explore what does this mean. For the process, it means that the process goals are specific actions or processes of performing. For example, I'm aiming to study for 2 hours after dinner every day. So this is my process of studying. That's what I want. The process goals are 100% controlled by the individual. So you have 100% control over if you're gonna really apply this or not. If you're gonna really sit after dinner for 4 hours to study or not. It's fully controlled by you. Here, our goal is related to what process am I gonna be doing? Now, another goal setting way is the performance based. And basically, this one, the performance goals, are based on personal standard, meaning that, for example, you are looking for or aiming to achieve a 3.5 GPA. This is a personal goal that is mostly controllable to a certain extent. So how would you like to perform? Okay, you want to be an A student. You want to get all marks 85 and above or 90% and above. So this is a performance type of goal. The last one is an outcome goal. The outcome goals are based on winning, what you will get out of that. For a college student, this could look like landing a job in your field or landing a job at a particular place of employment wanted. Outcome goals are very difficult to control because of other outside influences. Let me give you a simpler example and something that's more aligned with the first two examples. So while in the process, my goal is to study for 2 hours every day after dinner. In the performance, my aim is to achieve 3.5 GPA. The outcome could be to be the first student on the honor list and win the presidency, the President Excellence Award. Now, while I can control to a certain extent me getting a very high GPA and be on the honor list maybe, I cannot guarantee the outcome goal, which is getting that award. Why? Because while I might be giving my 120%, working so hard, getting all A's in my courses, there might be another person who has just a little more intellect or smartness or intelligence or more effort, puts just a slightly more effort and get 0.5% different achievement, which makes him win the award. So it's only fair to have this goal set up for you, but you have to consider how much influence you have on it or control you have on it, because it will impact the results that you will get. So you don't get disappointed as much. It's good to aim high. It's good to have an outcome goal, but you have to have the other considerations into place. Or you have to keep in mind that while you're working really hard towards this exceptional place you want to get to, you might not end up in this exceptional place. However, I'm pretty sure having this goal will lead you to somewhere near to that. So why am I talking about all of this? Because if I don't have a goal, I will not be able to know what to do with my time. So if my goal is to set, if it's a process goal, it will be 100% related to time. Because within the process goal, I'm telling myself that I will be spending this amount of time working out or studying or whatever. So I'm actually dictating the activity with the time allocated within the goal. Now, if I have a goal with performance, it will give me a direction, but I still have to put to it the time management part. Meaning that, okay, I'm aiming to achieve 3.5 GPA. So it will give me a direction and will make me maybe focus more, get less distracted, no procrastination, do my homework as soon as I receive it, start working on it, and plan my days accordingly. The last one too, I have to sit down and think, what does it take to achieve this part of this particular award, or to achieve this particular position, or job offering? And then plan my time. What will I do with my time right now to achieve that? Now, while these goals seem to be very okay, reasonable, make sense, and relate to time management and productivity as well, as you can see. A new goal, it's not very new actually, it's been there for a few years. Good, I'd say good 15, 20 years. There's a certain type of goals that makes maybe sums up this, all of it together. And it also gives you the direction, it gives you the time, and it gives you specification as to what you need to do. And these are the SMART goals. So you can choose to use any of these. I'm just giving you the different examples. It's very important to know the SMART goals. SMART goals are actually lifesavers at some points. Trust me. Through school, through work, SMART goals really, really are valuable. So let's explore this valuable tool together, you know, and try to apply it as we go. Best goals are SMART goals. The SMART goals method helps push you further, gives you a sense of direction. It helps you organize and reach your goals in a smarter way. And as you can see on the left of the screen, SMART, it's about you using your goals smartly or intelligently, but it's also a very good acronym for the following. So S stands for specific, using specific wording. Measurable includes measurable goals. M for measurable. A is for attainable or achievable. Aim for realistically attainable goals or achievable goals. The R is for relevant. You have to pick the goals that are relevant to your business or your life or your culture. And then time bound, which means make goals time bound by including the time frame. I'm pretty sure this is not clear yet. So let's explore this further. So starting with S for specific. In order for a goal to be specific and be effective, it needs to be specific. A specific goal answers questions like, what needs to be accomplished? Who's responsible for it? What steps needs to be taken to achieve it? So we have to be specific in our goal writing. So back to our theme, which is being a student, for instance. I cannot say my goal is to be a successful student. Well, what is a successful student? Is it an A student? Well, an A student is a successful student, but guess what? A passing student is also a successful student. They succeeded in passing the course. So you can be successful at 60%, and you can be successful also at 90%. What defines the success? Do you mean you want to be successful student by having excellent attendance? Because you can measure it this way as well. Do you mean you won't be a successful student by being a very active student and everybody knows you and you're active in all the clubs in the school? That's also an option. Specific is related to what you need to be accomplished, who's responsible for it, and what steps needs to be taken to achieve. It's specifically why you want to be successful, what part of success you're looking for. So let's look at this example, okay? This is an example written by someone named Jane. She's a manager at a high-tech firm company. And this is the goal that she wrote. And let's see what's her goal. To increase the number of monthly users of tech firms' mobile application. If Jane's goal was just that, if Jane's goal was increase the number of monthly users of tech firms' mobile application application, and that's it, it's not specific. Yes, it mentions which company, but it says increase. Who's going to increase it? What is going to be increased? And how you're going to be increasing it is very important. So increase the number is what you want to accomplish, okay, on the mobile application. How you're going to do it is very important, or what specifically should be done. By optimizing our app store listing and creating targeted social media campaigns. So specifically, she wants to increase that by optimizing the app store listing and by creating targeted social media campaigns. That is more specific. So back to my example, or our example, we can say, I want to be a successful student by maintaining a 3.0 GPA and being an active club member. Okay, so it's a specific goal. I know what I mean by success here. Now, this is specific, but it needs some enhancements. What's the enhancement? Remember? SMART is specific, measurable. You got it. Measurable is the second thing that has to be, or the second point that has to be considered in the SMART goals writing. So specific is very solid start. It's very good. But we have to give the number, the goal a number, quantifying your goal. That is making sure they're measurable. It makes it easier to track your progress and know when you've reached the finish line. I actually did a measurable one already because I said 3, GPA 3 for my example. But anyways, let's work on it more. So Jane and her product team want to grow the number of their mobile application users. But by how much? If they get even one new sign-up, that's technically a positive increase or growth. She has increased the number of subscribers or users. So does this mean they're done? They got the goal established? So we need to be more specific. No, we need to have a measurable number to our specific goal. And let's see how Jane has changed it. So her goal is now increase the number of monthly users of tech firms' mobile application by 1,000 by optimizing our app stores listing and creating targeted social media campaigns for four social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So now she has a measurable number. So only when we reach 1,000 users, then we have reached our goal. Not only by 1, not by 500, no, 1,000. That's our target. And it's measurable. So when I want to come back and see, did I succeed in this goal or not? I have this 1,000 as a measurement to look at. So let me go back to other example. And the reason why I'm giving you more than one example, because I want you to take the time to write a SMART goal yourself as well. So I'm giving you more examples to that. You can always Google examples as well. So that student, I want to be successful by getting a GPA of 3.0 in all my courses and be an active club member in 2 student clubs. 2 student clubs. So we have measurable, we have specific one. Okay, it's specific and it's measurable. So by the end of the year, or when I look back and see, did I achieve my goal? I will look at my courses. I will check my GPA in each course or each semester, and I will look at my activities in the membership for the student clubs memberships and see if I'm actually active member in 2 clubs. Then I'm good. I have achieved my goal. Is this enough? No. Why? Because I have 3 more letters to go for. The third part, which is very important, is to have achievable or attainable goal. Let's go to that. Achievable or attainable. This is the point in the process when you give yourself a serious reality check. Goals should be realistic. You cannot ask for the moon and the sun. It's too much. When you write your goal, you have to have a goal that you can actually do or work on. So ask yourself, so now that I've written, okay, I want to get a, if your goal was originally to get a 4.0 GPA, which is a higher one, and be an active member of 5 different clubs, because you're interested in different things, in cooking, language, outings, whatever. If you're really, really interested in multiple things and you want to be an active member in all of them, after you have written your goal, which has in reality what you really, really want, you have to do a reality check. Well, this is what you desire. Is it really achievable? Is it really attainable? Can you really actually reach that? Is it actually possible to get a very high GPA or high grades in your courses while being active in 5 different clubs? I don't think so. It's just not possible. So how can we make it more reasonable? Okay, let's look at Jane's example. Then I will go back to my example. So in Jane's example, increase the number of monthly users of tech firms' mobile application by 1,000 by optimizing our app stores, listing, and creating targeted social media campaigns for 3 social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. What did she do here? She kept the 1,000. Maybe she thinks it's a reasonable and attainable goal. If she had thought it was too much, maybe she would have tamed it down and made it 800 or 500. But what she really, really actually cut down was the 4 social media platforms. She must have looked and said, 4 social media platforms will be too much for us to work on. The campaigns that we have to put together, different type of, designs and advertisement and reaching out. 4 will be too exhausting for our team. So let's tame it down and make it 3. This is more achievable. This is more reasonable. This is more attainable. So just as such, for the student that we were talking about, do you want, is 5 club membership, active club membership, student membership is reasonable? I think it's a little bit too much. Let's tame it down to 2, maybe 1, and aim for the GPA 3.5. Or maybe I can say, I really don't care about the grades to be that high. I prefer to have an active life and enjoy the best of my university life. So my target will be, or my goal will be, to make my GPA 3.0 or 3.0, which is 3 technically, and be subscribed or be an active partner or member of 3 different clubs. That's an option too. Just make it reasonable. Don't don't attempt to torn yourself with so many things. Achievable goal. Otherwise, you can't make it. Just like if you're losing weight, you cannot say, I want to lose 50 kg by 50 kg. Okay. Um, oh, that's a good example. Let's do it at the end. Specific, relevant, and time bound. Okay. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So let's look at relevant. Why does it have to be relevant? Well, if you're not a student, it's not relevant to you. My example is not relevant to you. It's not relevant to your priorities and life. Maybe you have to choose goals that are more relevant to you. Maybe being more active in the gym. Maybe your work to finish certain tasks or projects. Maybe traveling. Maybe it's based on your relevance. So here's where you need to think about the big picture. Why are you setting the goals that you are setting? Just because you want to? For instance, here for Jane, Jane knows that the application is a huge driver for customer loyalty, and that an increase in their application use could mean big things for the company revenues. Now she revises her statement to reflect that context. So look at this example that we have here. Grow the number of monthly users of tech firms' mobile application, that's specific, by 1,000, measurable, by optimizing our app store listings and create targeted social media campaigns for 3 social media platforms, that's achievable, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And look at relevance. Why is she doing that? Because mobile users tend to use our product longer. Growing our app usage will ultimately increase profitability. Because this will actually benefit our company. That's why it's relevant. This is why we're trying that much hard to increase the app users. Because this will be reflected on ultimately on increasing the profitability of the whole business. All right. So why it's important for you? Why this goal is important for you? Why it's relevant? Why does it make sense? Because it's aligned with your culture. It's very important to your family because your parents will be very happy because this is how your company promotes people because you want to make your parents proud. You really appreciate seeing other cultures and interacting with different peoples around the world because that's what your religious beliefs tell you. How is your goal related to you or relevant to you? Why would you care to do that? All right. Finally, the T, time bound. To properly measure success, you need to know when a goal has been reached. You cannot just, have a goal and keep it open. Okay. Are you aiming to get a GPA of 3 and be an active member per semester for the whole 4 years? Like at any point in time within your education, you wanted to be part of 2 or 3 clubs, or you wanted to achieve 3.0 cumulative GPA throughout, or you want to test it yearly. You want to be assessed yearly. What is your time limit to that? It's very important. In fact, if you open, this is where the time is important. This is why goals are related to time management very much. If you sit down and look at any goal you can think of, I want to save 20,000 Qatari riyals. Well, guess what? If I don't put a time limit to this goal, it can definitely be achievable in 5 years, in 10 years. If I save, what, 20 riyals every day for X amount of years, I'll definitely get the 20,000 riyals. If I save 1 riyal, I'm not good at math, so I'm not going to be able to calculate this off the top of my head. But if you save 1 riyal every single day, okay, you will be able to achieve 20,000 riyals at a certain point in time. The challenge is not there. The challenge is, can I save 20,000 riyals by the end of 2023 in 1 year? Can I save 20,000 riyals in the next 5 years? If there's a time bound, or if there's a time limit or time frame within which I need to achieve my goal, then probably I will be putting the time. I will be actively participating to achieve this goal. So to properly measure success, you need to know when a goal can be reached or has been reached. What's the time? What's the time frame allocated for this time horizon? When should you start? And when you should finish? Let's look at our friend Jane. When Jane Incorporation wants her goal to be achieved, when would it be very important to her company to achieve these goals? So let's look at her goal for the last time. Grow the number of monthly users of tech firms' mobile application by 1,000 within Q1 of 2023. So for Jane, her team can definitely get 1,000 more applicants or users for their application within the next maybe 5 years. But can they reach it? And also maybe in a year, it's doable. But can they reach that within the first quarter? That's a bigger challenge. It's achievable, but it's a bigger challenge because we have the time limit. So guess what? If I need this to be achieved by the first quarter of 2023, then I have to start working on it right now. I have to start distributing the tasks and work on people right now. I have to start working on the social media campaign right now. I need to allocate the time for that right now to be able to achieve my goal within the time bound that I have put. This will be accomplished by optimizing our App Store listing and creating targeted social media campaigns, which will begin running in February 2023. So this is another key date. On 3 social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So now we have 2 points. We have to achieve this for the first quarter, within the first quarter of the year. The first quarter is like maybe the end of March, April-ish. And then, but in February, by February, they have to have the campaigns ready on the social media. And it makes sense because if they don't do it, if they do it further or down the line, or maybe in March or in April, then they won't be achieving this target in the first quarter. It won't be happening. So it's very important. Since mobile is our primary point of conversation for paid customer signups, growing our app usage will ultimately increase the sales. So if you look at Jane's goal, it's a bigger one, of course, but it's a smart goal. It is specific, what she wants. It's measurable, how many. It's attainable because she thinks this is doable. 3 platforms, 1,000 applicants or users. It's relevant because it's directly related to the performance of her company and the profitability of the company. It's also time bound. There's a time limit as when this is expected to be taking place. Very important. And now let's do this. Remember, I told you to bring a paper and a pen at the beginning of this webinar. I hope you've got that. If not, you can always pause the webinar and come back to it. So if we get a pen and paper and pause the video, try to draft a goal you wanted to achieve for a long time, but never did. try to apply SMART goal characteristics to your goal. If you need some clarifications, try to rewind this video, go back a little bit and test this. Let's do this together. Remember when I just came up with I remember the weight loss type of measurement. If I say I want to lose weight today, well, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. It will not, I will not be working on losing weight because it's a very generic type of goal. But if I say I want to lose 5 kg, that's more specific. If I say I want to lose 5 kg, 5 kilograms of my weight by skipping dinner meal, for example, or breakfast if you're doing intermittent fasting, and going to the gym once a week. Okay? Now, I have a specific and measurable goal. Now, let's go and see the attainable. Is it achievable? Can I go to the gym once a week? Yes, very attainable, of course. I can go more, actually. Let's make it 2. Okay, let's make it twice a week. But do I really want to skip a meal every single day? What about Friday, where we have a big, big, big breakfast with the whole family? Do I want to skip that? No, that's not going to be achievable. So let me make it more realistic and more relevant to me. So let me do it. Let me reset my goal and say I want to lose 5 kg by, or kilograms, by going to the gym twice a week and apply intermittent fasting 5 days a week. I can even be more specific and measurable and say apply 16 hours of intermittent fasting 5 days a week. Okay? So now is it relevant? Am I unhealthy? Am I a little bit overweight? Do I really need the 5 kg? Because if not, I don't need that. This goal is not relevant to me. So let's say this relevance is checked, and then we end up with SMART relevance. Now the T, time-bounded. Well, I cannot say that I want to lose 5 kg and leave it open like that, because eventually I can do that within a year or 2, right? But I want it to be more specific and more time-bounded, so I can actually work on the things that I wanted to do. So I can actually allocate the 30 minutes going to gym twice a week. Okay. So now I make it time-bounded and I say, I want to lose 5 kg of my weight by applying intermittent fasting 16 hours, 5 days a week, and going to the gym twice a week for 30 minutes within the next 2 months. So after 2 months, this is my deadline. If I don't achieve this goal, then I haven't. If I haven't lost the 5 kg. But if I manage to lose it before then, or by the 2 months frame, then I have succeeded my goal. You see how having a SMART goal is better than having the other types of goals. I'm not saying that you should just omit the other goals, but it helps us or pushes us more to be productive. It helps us apply the time management activity forcefully because we are bounded by time, because we have a measurable number to refer to. It's a very, very important tool. And I really, 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 really highly recommend that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you. So I'm just going to give you a minute so you can sit down and try to write a SMART goal of yourself. Make sure it's specific, make sure it's measurable, make sure it's achievable or attainable, make sure it is relevant to you, and make sure it is time bound. I hope you have already you are already able to do that. I'm going to play this video and I hope that you'll be able to hear it. So what if your goal was too big, and you are not able to achieve it all at once? What do? Here's a very nice video for that. Oops. I just want to make sure. Yes. Share sound. Perfect. All right, so the very important theme of this video, I find that even if your goal is very, very big, you are still able to achieve it, only if you take it a step at a time. So you take the big goal and you break it into the daily or monthly activity that you want to do. Just as we said right now, if your goal is to be an excellent student, that's perfect. You have the measurement, you have everything, you have the relevance, you have the time bound. So, okay, you want to graduate in 4 years with the GPA 3.0 and active membership in certain amount of clubs in the school. Perfect. That's great. That's just great. However, can you achieve this? How can you achieve this from day one? How can you start working on it? That's a big goal. So you start to break it down into small steps, meaning that, okay, so in order for me to do that, every semester I have to get at least 80% in all my courses, at least. All right. So in order for me to do that, I have to be studying every single day. I have to manage my time. It's very important to have this ultimate goal that you need, but then you need to break it down into smaller goals or tiny steps. And the most important thing is to just start. The success depends on action. Only when you take the first step, then you can actually reach the 1000 step. But if you don't, you won't get there. And we will talk more about that towards the end of this course. It's a very interesting point that we want to discuss together. So far, we've talked about time management and the quality of life. How, if you have a good time management, it will increase the quality of life that you have. It will reduce the stress that you have. And also, we talked about the value of goals or the different ways of setting goals. And we also learned about the SMART goal technique. I hope you have applied it and it worked really well for you. Let's continue. Now, setting goals is a good technique, but not the only one. We have other techniques and tools that we can also look at in terms of time management approaches. And in fact, you can use a combination or you can use one only. It depends on what matches your personality, and we'll talk about that as well. So let's explore other ways of time management techniques. Of course, goal setting, as I told you, it can be as simple as having a paper in front of you, writing all the things you need to do, and go ahead and start working on it. Or write beside everything how much time you're going to dedicate. So, for example, I wake up today, I have to take my car to be fixed. I have to pass by my uncle's house to drop something. I have to submit an assignment online. I have to go for a job interview. Great. These are all the things I have to do. Now I have to write the timing that's best for all of these. Maybe the car mechanic only works, he closes during the afternoon between 1 and 5 p.m. Then I have to allocate the time for this task, either in the morning or in the afternoon. What about my job interview? It's a preset time, right? So maybe I have to dress up and go to be there at the meeting at 11. I have to leave my house at 10. Maybe. It's very important, I find, to have the visual, to have something concrete in front of you, to write it down. It gives you more of a value. And you know what's most important? Taking out what you finished. Anyways, it's an organization method. But as I'm telling you, it can be as simple as that, but it can be a little bit more complicated. Not complicated, sophisticated. Let's explore these three very interesting. So I did the goal setting, the SMART goal, but there are three more very interesting different ways of time management that I would like to share with you. The first one is work smart, which is the 80-20 rule. The second one, or the third one, which we did the goal setting first, is prioritizing tasks, which is the Eisenhower matrix. Some of you might have heard about it. And the last one is categorizing tasks, which is the pickle jar theory. Very interesting. Let's start with the work smart, the 80-20 rule. You know how the new generation is now always said that they don't work hard, work smarter. The 9 to 5, um, 9 to 5 in the Western world, here in Qatar, maybe 7 to 3 time frame work is diminishing all over the world. People don't want you to be on your desk if you're not doing anything. If you are a smart person and can time manage yourself, manage your time very well, if you can allocate the right time, finish your tasks fast, and be done. What they need is productivity. They don't need you to waste your time at work. They don't need you to waste your time. They want you to be smarter. And this is the theme of this era. And this is why the 80-20 example is very important. Let's look, what does it mean, 80-20? In business, 80% of sales come from 20% of our clients. In relationships, 80% of time is spent within 20% of our friendships. In fashion, 20% of our clothes are worn 80% of the time. Gosh, that's so true. Playing guitar, 20% of skills are used 80% of the time. So when you're playing guitar, you're actually using 20% of the whole skills that you learn when you learn about playing guitar. It's very interesting and it's so true in every aspect. So you can see that people waste their time, energy, resources, money on buying a lot of clothes, but they end up just wearing 20% of it. If you target to reach out to all your clients, while in fact you're only making good business, or only 20% of your clients are bringing you the real revenue you're looking for, why do you want to waste your time on the other 80%? In relationships, it's like that all over. Why do I need to learn about all the different skills of playing a guitar if at the end of the day I'm just using 80% of it, 20% of it? But that's how life is. So let's go further. Where are you heading to, Rola? The work smart rule. That's where I'm heading to. The idea is that out of your entire task list, if you complete 20% of those tasks, will result in 80% of the impact you can create for your day. So, in order to get the most impact done, identify which tasks have the most impact for your team and focus on those for the day. So let's go back to our example. If within my day, I have a job interview, I have to fix my car, I have to drop something at my uncle's place, and I have to watch a movie, and I have to work on an assignment. Okay? These are the 5 tasks that I have. Of all these 5 tasks, there are 5. Which one task that would make my day, that would bring the most impact, that would change my life, in other words? In reality, I think there are 2 main ones. Sorry. The job interview, because it's limited, it has a time limit, it can change my life if I get this job. It might be the job of my dream if I landed it. In fact, if I get this job, I might be able to buy a new car and not worry about fixing it. I might be able to, if I get a job, to get my uncle even a better gift, or that I need to drop to him. I might be able to get, if I get this job, I might be able to, even for the assignment, I can work on the assignments in the evening and it's not the end of the world. So if I look at it, the task that brings the most value is the job interview. So this is what I focus on. This is what I focus on. Maybe after that, I fix the car and I drop it if I have the time to do that. But I will not be starting my assignment, which is due by the weekend. I won't stop my the other things I need to do, or start watching the movie while I have the other things that are important. These are 80% of the tasks that I need to do, but they are redundant. They can be done in a different day. They can be repeated. They are not as valuable, not as important. If I was a smart person, I would prepare myself for the interview, and that's what I focus on my day. This would be the one task that would make my day. Do you agree with me? Okay, so I want you to pause and think. If you apply this to your life, in a typical day that's of work, if you're a working person, what would be the thing, the 20% that would make the 80% value in your day? If you identify this, you will know that the other 80% is actually a time waster, is actually not a priority. We'll talk about priority in a second. Okay. Let's continue. So what happens is that the least important effort, inputs, causes and minimum results, outcome effects. What? The least important effort, normally, the things that take more of our time during the day, and we put a lot of effort into it, actually the result that comes out of it is of a 20% effect or value to our life. Whereas the things that are just constitute 20% of our day or tasks have the 80% effect in our lives. The blue part is the most important. So please take the time to put the effort on the right cause so that you can maximize your benefits. I'm not saying that you should ignore the 80%, the other 80%. It's there. You still have to deal with it, but don't give it your priority in the day. Don't focus on it and waste the whole day on things that will give you only 20% value back. While some things you can actually solve by just making a phone call. Maybe you can arrange for someone to come do it for you or something. Don't waste your time on the 80% that has 20% value or effect on you. Play it smart and focus on the 20%, very, very important and effective part that has the 80% effect. All right. I hope this is clear. Now let's explore another important theory. And I really, really love this theory because it makes sense. It just makes sense. It's another logic of how to put things into perspective. And it was created by Mr. Eisenhower. It's called to be the Eisenhower priority matrix. So Mr. Eisenhower said that the two important or the two aspects of identifying your daily tasks or monthly tasks or goals or plans or activities is by identifying the urgency of this task and the importance of this task. What? If it's important, then it's urgent? No. What about if it's urgent? Isn't it important automatically? Also no. How come? Well, some things in our life are important and urgent. Some things in life are not important, but they are urgent. Some things in life are not urgent, but important. And some things in life are not important and not urgent. How can I identify which is which? Let's look and see about this example. So here I developed for you an example of each of these boxes, and then we'll try to apply it for some other scenarios as well. So in prioritizing your tasks, what do I mean by prioritizing my tasks? If, as we said, the time is limited. At work, I have only 8 hours a day. During the whole day, I have only 24 hours. So how do I get to do all the things that I want to do? If I have a list of things that I want to do, which includes I want to, maybe I'm a working parent, okay? So among the things that I want to do are I want to buy my kids clothes. I want to teach do the homework of my son. I want to submit the project plan for my boss. I want to respond to my friend who emailed me or sent me a message on WhatsApp, and we haven't spoken for 2 months. And he wants to know when we can meet for a coffee. I want to find another job. I want to get a new set of pots. These are all things on my mind that are bothering me, that are creating some not stress, but you know, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of things I have to do and accomplish. And I'm not sure where should I start. Should I go to the market and buy the clothes at the same time, get the pots, or should I submit the project, but that's gonna take more time? Should I do the homework with my kid or just do it on my own? Or where do I start? Your life might be more complicated than that. I'm just trying to give you an example. Some of these points are urgent and important. A friend whom you actually talk casually with every few months, you contact each other, let's go for coffee, and you just laugh and talk. And is it important? Is it gonna be a huge impact on him or on you if you postpone responding to him or meeting him over coffee for another day or two? No. Then something like this is not urgent and is not important. Of course, if he has a big issue, then it's urgent. We're not talking about that. I'm just talking about the casual meetings that we have with friends from time to time. What about buying clothes? It's important. Maybe the kids really need clothes. Maybe you really need the pots. But are they naked right now? Do they not have any clothes at all? No. So maybe this is something that is not urgent, but it's important. Same thing as for the pots. It's not urgent, but it's important. What about the project, the plan that I have to submit to my boss, and he said the deadline is today? If I don't submit it, I'll be in trouble. This is very important. Guess what? It's also urgent. What about, I want to think about, so anyways, so if I look at my day and I write down all the tasks that I have to do, and if I identify which one ticks important, which one ticks urgent, which one ticks urgent and important, which one would I jump into right away and allocate the time for it? Because as we said, time is limited. I might not be able to accomplish all of these in the same day. Not important, not possible. What do I do? Which one do I pick? Where do I start? Pick the one that's important and urgent. Pick the one that's important and urgent. Another example. So let me look at the examples that I have. And then you go for urgent and not important, because also there's an urgency here. Maybe you have a rule that you need at work that you need to get back to your clients within 24 hours. Maybe there's an information that you need to respond to, and this information is important in a way. Not important, sorry. You just need to get back to the person and say yes or no or thank you, just to show respect. You know, it's not important, but it's urgent to address. You have to attend the meeting. It's urgent. Your boss has asked for it. Maybe he will just be blah, 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 talking about something that you're not interested in, but you have to attend. But that's only after you are able to submit your project. So let's look at those examples as you see here in the screen. Urgent and important. Examples of urgent and important are project deadlines, customer escalations. If a customer has an issue with your product in your company or your service, and they have already made a complaint, and this complaint has already been escalated, what does that mean? Well, it means that you have to take care of this issue. It's important and it's urgent. If this client's case is not handled right away, he will not be satisfied. It might go over to the social media. It might be escalated to your boss or to even higher management, and you might end up being fired, or somebody else will be hurt. Or why? So customer escalations is definitely urgent and important. Let's look at the urgent but not important. Some meetings are urgent but not important. The weekly meetings you have with your boss, he's just updating you on things that are happening. It's urgent because he calls for it, but it's just an update. He could have sent you an email technically, but it's urgent because he asked for it. Emails. Most people want you to respond to them right away. It's not important. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to cause anything, but you have to respond to them. Tasks for others. Things that people are waiting for it. Yani if you don't do it, it will not, the flow will not continue. It's stopping at you. You have to do it urgently, even if it's not important, even if it's just something that is silly and can be done easily. Don't. It's not possible. It's not important, but it's urgent. So we start with the urgent and important tasks. Then we go to the urgent and not important tasks. Then we go to the not urgent, but important tasks. Like what? Like planning, like preventing long-term problems, like your personal developments, your goals, and meditation and working on. It's important. It's very important. But do I stop everything that I'm doing right now to do it? No. So these are things that are very important, but not urgent. Finally, of course, not urgent and not important. These are things like social media, like time wasters, like the chat you have with your friends, the conversations you have off topic. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. We all have those tasks. We all have it. But when I have multiple tasks in my head, how do I manage my time, my limited resource, the time that I have? How do I manage it so that I can accomplish as much as possible or be as much productive as possible? Either by identifying what is more important and what will give me more value. You can think of it in this way and do it, then I will get the more value. Or by focusing on what is important and urgent. In fact, if you apply these two theories, and there's a third one that I will be sharing with you in a minute. If you apply all these three time management techniques, you might, with the same tasks, you might end up having the same result. What is important and urgent is normally what is most effective in your life. And it will be also the one that's important in the categorizing tasks theory, which we will be covering in a minute. But um, but it won't, but you follow what you feel more logical for you, the thing that resonates more with your own way of thinking. I'm not saying that one of them is right and the other one is wrong. I'm not saying one of them is easy and the other one is not. I'm not saying you should use all of them or one of them. What makes sense to you, what clicks to you, what makes you think, oh, okay, that meets my logic. This is that I would feel comfortable applying this, then do it. All right, let's continue. So what do we do when we have those tasks, when we have put them into the four tasks, the four matrix categories or boxes that we have here: urgent and important, urgent and not important, not urgent and important, and not urgent and not important. Sorry. What do you think we should do? This is how we handle it. If it meets urgent and important, guess what? Do it now. If it meets not important but urgent, if you're a manager, delegate it. Get someone, hey, please, Ahmad, can you do this now for me, please? I'm busy with something that's more important and urgent, but this is also urgent. Can you handle it? If it's not urgent, but it's important, schedule it. Okay, so I won't be able to do this today, but it's important. So let me allocate a time for it next week. Let me allocate a time for it on the weekend. Let me allocate a time for it tomorrow by afternoon. If it's not urgent and not important, forget it. It's just going to waste your time. So now we are done with the second technique of prioritization. And now we get to the fourth one. The fourth one is very interesting. In fact, I was firstly exposed to it as an experiment that my teacher at school, I was at the high school, she did that with us. She brought 2 jars with all of these components. She had sand, pebbles, and rocks. And if you put the sand first, and then you put the pebbles, and then you put the stones or the rocks, they won't fit. They won't just fit in the jar. But if you put the rocks first, then the pebbles, the sands can actually fit within the empty small spaces in between. And the jar will be able to handle the same amount of stuff that he wouldn't, or it wouldn't have handled if you were to put the sand first. Back then, that was a big example or a big lesson that she taught us. She said that prioritize things that are more valuable for you, family and stuff. But then as I grew up, I found that this is actually the pickle jar theory. It's a theory that talks about categorizing tasks in such a way, and it does make a lot of sense. If you have big tasks, major tasks to do, important, big and major tasks that you need to take care of within your day, and you start your day by, answering chats, WhatsApp, stuff like this, you will definitely end up being wasting your time. You will have 2, 3 hours are gone, and you haven't done anything. So what will happen? Your day will be gone, and you haven't done much because you have started your day, or you've wasted the big chunk of your day on those, small chats and whispers and social media stuff. Your day will not be sufficient enough to accommodate the other bigger stuff. That's a problem. While if you start with the focus on what is very important, what is the big thing that I need to start with, and then you put the other meetings, the other things that are taking place within your day, and you squish in some of the chats in between and stuff, you will be able to manage. Your day will be big enough to accommodate all of that. Notice it's all about you identifying what is important and urgent. What will bring you the most value in the first theory? Which will which is more urgent and important in the second theory? And the third theory is the most important task that needs to be done today. So the rocks in this pickle jar theory are the most important tasks that needs to get done today. The pebbles, this represents tasks that needs to be completed, but can be done in another day or by someone else. Okay? And the sand represents the disturbing elements of your day, such as phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, etc. And as I said, and as it's obvious, you start by what's important to be done today. Then you incorporate the other, meetings and other tasks that needs to be done throughout the day. Some of them you can schedule for another day. Some of them you can ask someone else to do it. Some of them you can do yourself after you finish your rocks. And then you might have plenty of times for the sand. But don't start by wasting your time on sand. Because just as the jar, it's limited. Our time is limited. The capacity of the jar is limited. You can either manage your time in a way that it can accommodate everything by starting with the most important, and the thing that needs to be done today, or you can make it walk your day as it goes, start by the phone calls and never end. Time is gonna go. It's limited. I have only 8 hours a day for work. Anyways, so we are done with this theory as well. So which one would you use? I've given you so many theories. Rola, what do you mean? Which one should we use? As I just mentioned, they are all almost equal. They all have the same concept. What you need to do is you need to sit down and list all your tasks. Then, depending on the type of work you have, you either follow, and the type of personality you have, you either follow the jar concept by identifying the most important tasks to do today, and then the other tasks that can be delegated, and then the disturbance or the distractions, and block it. Or you can sit down and say, okay, for this, my most valuable thing is this for my day. This will make my day. Or you can sit down and decide, I'm gonna look at what's important and urgent in that sense. It's a different logic for the same thing. In reality, if you look at it, types of people who will benefit from the Pareto analysis are the problem solvers and analytical thinkers. And this is the 80-20 theory. if your characteristic or your type of thinking, your analytical thinking, you will be able to capture, okay, so this task analytically, you can be able to analyze the tasks and the value and the impact they will have on your day right away. You'll be also be able to solve problems as such. If you're the type of person who has a leadership position, and critical thinkers will be able to identify what's important and what's not urgent in a critical manner, criticizing manner. Um, it's very important for leaders to do this one, because you know how it has the delegation piece. It makes it easier for them to decide on what to go for and what to get someone else help them with. And you'd have this, delegation luxury that maybe if you are not a leader won't have. I mean, it doesn't mean that you cannot apply it. You can still apply it if you're not a leader, but the delegation one will be tasks that you will be postponing to take care of at a later time or after you finish the important and urgent. Types of people who will benefit from the pickle jar are visual people and concrete thinkers, because it gives them a real, when you see the jar, it's very obvious that it gives you a real visual for the limitation of the jar capacity and how much you can put into it. So when you apply, you are actually seeing the rocks and the pebbles and the sand as you do that. So you can choose whatever works for you. Of course, the worst nightmare for every time manager, if you want to manage your time effectively, if you want to be effective and productive, what is it? Procrastination. How do you deal with time barriers, distractions, and procrastination? Okay, I'll just do it later. How would you handle, I'll just do it later? Before I do that, I just want to say something. For distractions, one of the very important tools I found was to make it clear that you are busy. If on your phone, make it on do not disturb mode. Make your phone silent. Put an out of office response that you are busy meetings out. For example, I'm a busy meeting all day outside of the office. I'll get back to you tomorrow. At least this will buy you time. Huh? If you have an office with a door, put a sign on the door. In a meeting or working on something, or please do not disturb. Putting this helps you as well as others respect your boundaries and respect that you have a very urgent and important task that you have to finish. And this is what we call time blocking. Block your time. Make your time only available for that. If you need a coffee to concentrate, go grab one. As long as you are fully concentrating once you start the task. Now, let me talk about identifying ways to dealing with procrastination. It's almost like a disease. You want to do it, but maybe in 5 minutes. 5 minutes leads to 10 hours. 10 hours leads to a month leads to a year, and it's never done. How we deal with this? Let me show you this very interesting video about, and I'll tell you about this lady afterwards. She's amazing. Just want to make sure that the sound is shared.
Notice I said simple. I didn't say easy. And the reason why it's not easy is because you have to deal with you. And now we know that you're a control freak and you're stubborn and you got all these excuses. You're a real pain. And I'm going to teach you, though, the very, very simple way to get what you want. There's only one rule when it comes to productivity. There's only one rule when it comes to success. There's only one rule to getting everything you've ever wanted. And here it is. You're never going to feel like it. Ever. In any area of your life that you don't have what you want, whether it's the amount of money, the amount of people on your team, the amount of sales, the amount of trips for your family, if you only did the things that you don't feel like doing, you'd have everything you've ever wanted. Those areas where you're happy, you do the work. Those areas where you're complaining, you don't feel like it, so you don't do it. So it's a lot like kids. If you think about it, what's your job as a parent? It's to make kids do the things they don't feel like doing so they can grow up and move out and become independent adults. My son never feels like getting off the DS. So the only way to get what you want is to parent yourself, but I'm going to make it easy for you. We're about to move. You've learned a ton about the brain now. The brain is going to screw you over. The brain is going to go into autopilot. The brain is going to tell you it doesn't feel like doing things. It's trickery. You now know that. So how do you be effective with yourself knowing that you're never going to feel like doing all the work that it takes to have this business be everything that it possibly could? So you're going to use the 5-second rule. And what that means is this. From the moment that you have the idea, I should email out the fall collection. I should go through the contact list for my college or university and reach out to people. I should go through my contact lists and invite 23 people this week to just take the dogs for a walk. I should make a request of a friend and ask if I can come to a presentation at lunch at his law firm. From the second you have that idea, you've only got 5 seconds to take action. Otherwise, it's gone. Your brain will swoop in so fast, it'll be like, uh-oh, there's an idea. No way. No way. You don't feel like it. You're overwhelmed. You've got 5 seconds, and that's it. Today, I want you to practice this because what you're going to notice is you're going to notice a little bit later, like in the networking section and afterwards and in some of these events after this particular speech, you're going to notice that you have an impulse. You have an impulse to walk towards somebody that's really successful, that's built a team that could possibly help you. And guess what? You're not going to do it. You've probably had them the entire time that you've been here. Oh, I should go over and talk to this person. I'll catch them later. Oh, that person looks really interesting. I don't know. I should really take some photos of this fall line and start to, that might be too pushy. So what you do, how does it work? You have the thought, you've got 5 seconds, that's it. And what do you need to do? Just say something out loud, that's one way. You could start walking. The second you feel like you should meet somebody because you're drawn to them, again, it's from here, it's not from here, start walking. Because if you're already walking, the likelihood is you'll actually make it to them. And then you're going to say something. Write it down, schedule it, send an email to yourself, or make the request. One of the things that was so interesting about talking to Tara this morning is it was clear that a couple people had been in there sharing their brains out about Jay Hilburn. And yet it never progressed into the side of the conversation of, would you like information? Would you like to do it? And I'm sure whoever it was that was lying on the table probably had that thought, like, I should probably say something. Should I? Getting a facial, is that weird? To be talking about business at the same time? 5 seconds gone. Talk yourself out of it.
All right. I hope the
idea is clear. This lady is called Mel Robbins. She came up with this amazing theory and it works like magic. You see, this is the cover of her book. Her book has sold millions, billions of copies. It's been translated into many, many, many languages. And it says, transform your life, work, and confidence with everyday courage. So the theory is basically that it only takes someone 5 seconds to either do something or not. The only solution for procrastination is to start doing it now. Just start doing it now. If you are If you are if you are looking for a job, or if you need a better job, if you don't open whatever websites, Indeed, LinkedIn, the moment you start thinking about it and start applying for jobs, it won't happen. If you don't open LinkedIn and look for the job and click apply or submit, it's not going to happen. If you see someone who has an opportunity for you, if you don't go and talk to them at the same exact moment, within 5 seconds of the thought, it will not happen. If you're sitting there on your couch watching TV and you know you have an assignment that's due in 2 days, but you know it's going to take a long time and it's important, and you already have the ideas in your mom in your head, but you're like, yeah, I'll just do it tomorrow. I still have some time. No, you don't have much time. Pause or shut down the TV and go grab your iPad within 5 seconds and do it. If you had a fight with someone and you are intending to apologize and make it up for them, and it never happened, every time it crosses your mind, if you don't pick up the phone and call the person within 5 seconds, you're not going to do it. Procrastination is a very, 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 it's actually the only enemy for time management. So in order for you to deal with barriers, you can take the time block out, shut down anything else. As I mentioned, put a sign, turn off your phone, and work on this thing. Put a timer. If your issue is procrastination, just do it. As soon as you know that you have something to do, as soon as you finish putting what's important and urgent in your Eisenhower matrix, priority matrix, or as soon as you decide what is the 20% you need to focus on to get the 80% value of your day, or as soon as you decide what are the rocks you need to focus on, start doing it. That's what she says. And it's just amazing. It's simple and logical, very simple, almost seems like common sense. But guess what? It's true. The only solution for you to manage your time well is to have a pen and a paper with you. Write it down. Am I too old school when I say pen and paper? You can use your notepad or iPad or anything like that. Prioritize them. Decide what's important. Write your goals. And make sure it's relevant and measurable for you so you can start working on it. And as soon as you identify what you need to do, start doing it. Because especially if it's urgent, it's now or never. So the 5 seconds rule is to avoid procrastination, but also it helps avoid what's known to be perfectionist trap. I don't know if you've heard about that before, but some people are perfectionists. And perfectionist, well, it seems very, very fancy. Perfect. It comes from perfect. So I'm a perfectionist. It's a very nice thing to do or have. Not really. Actually, it's one of the weaknesses that I mentioned in interviews. Why? Because when you are a perfectionist, normally you don't want to start things unless things are very important or sorry, are in a very perfect layout. Okay, so yes, you want to work on this assignment, but before you want to do, you want to do the enough research for that. Before you start working out, you want to make a study about the best gym in town and how to reach it and who is the coach and analyze the data of the people membership. Then you would do it. Really? Yes, really. That's how perfectionist head work. So it's the first thing that destroys your desire to start the action on your time management process, meaning that, oh, I really want to, but I'm just going to wait until I save enough money so I can buy the best home ever. It rarely happens this way. It rarely happens that you save enough money to buy a house. Rarely. You should jump into it, actually. You should buy whatever, if you have a little bit of saving, you should buy whatever you can afford and then grow from there. Sell and buy until you grow. That's how it works. That's to avoid the perfectionist trap. I think the 5-second rule makes it stops this pattern, stops you from going on thinking about it. Should I maybe, or the hesitation piece? You avoid the hesitation piece with this one. So I highly recommend you looking into the 5 seconds rule more if you're a perfectionist or a procrastinator. Well, I hope this is all for today. I hope you have learned enough time management skills and techniques, and you are eager to go and apply them all. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. If you have any further questions or for more information about the professional training programs offered by the Continuing and Professional Education Directorate at UDST, University of Doha for Science and Technology, please contact the CPE team through the email or phone numbers provided here in the slide. And thank you so much for watching.